Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. This lesson is just going to be going into, I guess, upcoming events, because it's more along the lines of, the eclipses coming up, and these eclipses, these signs in the heavens are signs of the coming end of Babylon the Great. And I'm just going to jump right into it. This is Luke 21, and starting at verse 25, and this is in the AMP, or the Amplified Bible. And you see the heading, it says the return of Christ, but, if you're in the know, you're not going to really associate with anything that, with Christians or anything like that. So you'd say, the return of the Messiah, or the return of the Anointed, or if you say in Hebrew, return of Hamashiach, meaning the Anointed. So this is referring to Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So this is Luke 21, starting at verse 25 in the AMP. There will be signs, and in parentheses it says, attesting miracles in the sun and moon and stars. And on the earth there will be distress and anguish among nations, and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea and the waves, people fainting from fear and expectation of the dreadful things coming on the world, for the very powers of the heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with transcendent, overwhelming power, subduing the nations and with great glory. Now when these things begin to occur, stand tall and lift up your heads in joy, because suffering ends as your redemption is drawing near. So that was a bit of a read, but the point being that there will be signs and in the sun and moon and the stars. So signs in the heavens. So I have a few things here. I just had this astronomical events 2025, and there's meteor showers. The quadrantids peak in early January, so I guess there's meteor showers going on. And the Lyrids and Eta Aquarids peak in April and May, so there's meteor showers going on in January, April, and May. The Southern Delta, they'll peak in July, so I'm not really sure exactly where you'll see those, because the skies, there's so much light pollution, around the cities, and really everywhere you go, you got to kind of go to like someplace like Big Bend or something like that to see, meteor showers like that, really, and to get the full enjoyment of them. But this here, the next one, the lunar eclipses, says a total lunar eclipse will be visible in North America on March 13th and 14th, and another will be visible in Asia, Europe, Africa, and Australia on September 7th. So the March 13th and 14th, that's going to be happening here in North America in Babylon the Great. And it's going to be a blood moon, or it's going to be a lunar eclipse and also a blood moon at the same time. So the moon is going to be looking like, it's turning to blood. And this is also going to be happening on the Passover. So this is very significant. If you can, understand that. So, the Passover, that day, that night actually was when, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, killed all the firstborn of the Egyptians, and not just all the Egyptian males, I should say. So not just the males of the of the Egyptians, is their cattle, everything, all the firstborn died that didn't have the blood of the lamb covering them. So, considering that, you need the blood of Yahushai, covering you. It's very interesting. But these are signs and wonders. And then also there's going to be another one in September, which is also, full moon, which I believe that's, I want to say it's near the Day of Atonement, but I don't, no, that's not the Day of Atonement. I believe that's going to be, hold on, let me check real quick. I'm slacking. I believe that should be the beginning of the Feast of Tabernacles, which, hey, that's going to be happening, on the other side of the world. So, that's all right. Which, hey, still a sign and a wonder. The solar eclipses are going to be, there's going to be a partial solar eclipse on March 29th. So that's going to be a new moon. So it's a beautiful times that we're living in, considering, hey, we got the, Nero back in office. We're expecting, things to tighten down, harsher judgments to come out. We're expecting the MOTB, Jacob's Trouble. We're expecting, tyranny. We're expecting things to get worse, because they want things to get worse so they can get better. Because the worse things get, the closer we are to the kingdom of heaven. The moons, the full moon will occur January 13th, February 12th. But that's pretty much it. There's also a planetary, like a planetary alignment. Let me see here if I can get that. Here we got planetary alignments for 2025. I'm gonna see if I can find anything real quick. So it's supposed to be a parade of planets going on this month. So let me see here. So 4 planets all month, 4 planets visible. In the first couple of hours of dark, you'll find Venus and Saturn in the southwest, Jupiter high overhead, and Mars in the east. And you'll need a telescope, but you're seeing all kinds of, things going on in the heavens. Anyway, here I just found this website here. It's kind of interesting. It has like different, astronomical events going on. So here, March 14th, it says a total lunar eclipse. A total lunar eclipse occurs when the moon passes completely through the Earth's dark shadow, or umbra. During this type of eclipse, the moon will gradually get darker and then take on a rusty or blood red color. The eclipse will be visible throughout all North America, Mexico, Central America, and South America. So, and this is csky.org, and it says astronomy, and that you could just look up astronomical events, or I put in celestial events to find this one, celestial events 2025. This is Genesis chapter 1, and I'll start at verse 14. It says, and the Most High, and power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So, hey, there's lights. You have the main one, the sun, to rule the day, and then you have the moon and the stars, that rule over the night. So it says, let them be for signs. This is H226 Awath, and it means, a sign, a signal, a distinguishing mark, a miraculous sign, an omen, a warning. So this is a different signs going out. This is a distinguishing mark, considering, hey, these things, they don't happen at any time, and when they're happening, you should be able to tell, like, look at what's going on. The world is preparing for war. There's fears of mass deportations. There's fears of, all kinds of fears happening right now. There's famine and food shortages happening. Migrants not showing up for work because they're scared of being deported. This, that, all kinds of things happening. And they should sell you for signs. These are signs. Which here, let me see if there's any more. That's pretty much it. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 6. It says, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So the moon, which when you look up the word moon, it goes into month. The moon determines the month. So right now we're coming towards the end of the year. The end of the actual year, the way Yahweh Bashem Yahushai set it up, and entering into a new one, towards mid-February. But the moons are meant to tell time, and it gives signs. The same thing with the sun and the stars. It says the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start up again. This is Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast. So you get the different feast days. Just about every one of them falls on the full moon. Like a Feast of Unleavened Bread or a Passover, full moon. I just mentioned it, the Feast of Tabernacles, full moon, and so on. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So it's up in the heavens. This is an instrument, showing the times. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order, and never faint in their watches. So they never go out. They're always going to be there. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai put them up there. They're going to be there, and they're going to do what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai commands them to do. Now, again, let me read this one more time. This is Luke chapter 21 and verse 25 in the AMP. There will be signs attesting miracles in the sun and moon and stars, and on earth there will be distress and anguish among nations, in perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea and the waves. So I might actually get that in the KJV. Let me see here. I'm sorry, I'm at 25. This is Luke 21 and 25 in the KJV. And there will be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So these nations are going to be in distress. They're going to be confused. They're not really going to know what's going on, nor why it's happening. And the sea and the waves roaring, you're going to have all kinds of different, you have earthquakes that happen underwater. You have the storms that are happening, like a storm that just blew through the UK and Ireland, which apparently, looking at the path of that storm, it looked like it caught a bunch of momentum from the that Arctic blast that came blowing through here just a few days ago. So these are very beautiful times that we're living in. Because everything that happens, especially with the storms, the different earthquakes and whatnot, it's going to affect one place like here, and it's going to go on and move to another place and affect other people in a different way, and it's just going to keep building up. So this is Joel chapter 2, and verse 31. Matter of fact, that's fine. I'll just get straight to the point. It says, "The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai come." So before that great and terrible day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, meaning the thermonuclear destruction, the return of Yahushai, and you're going to see different signs in the heavens. The sun being darkened, whether it be through eclipses or the sky being so dark that you can't see it. And then also the moon turning into blood. And here it is, we're having a blood eclipse coming up. So I'm going back to this here, because I had to look up a few words. This is Luke 21 and verse 25 again. In the AMP, there will be signs attesting miracles in the sun and stars and on the earth, and there will be distress and anguish among nations. So let's look at, I looked up this word anguish and distress, and let's look up here. This is just a quick Google definition. It says distress, extreme anxiety, sorrow, or pain. So there's going to be extreme anxiety, extreme sorrow, extreme pain going on in the earth, which you already see. The people of this generation, they're extremely anxious. Let me see what's going on in the news, if there's anything that pops up in the news. They're anxious about everything. You see the anxiety about climate change, which is BS. It itself is BS, because they're saying that it's, pollution and this and that, when this is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai bringing these evils upon the earth. Extreme weather can increase anxiety. I'm just reading the headlines. It says unaccompanied and separated children face severe anxiety. Anxiety. So this is a common thing. And expected to get worse, because the coming days, in the times of Jacob's trouble, you're not gonna have, Google or anything to look up. You're not gonna have like a paper bag to blow into to catch your breath or whatever like that. However that works, I don't know. You're not gonna have anything to relieve your anxiety if you don't have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. In other words, because if you got Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you should already understand the for the most part. Now, that don't mean you're not gonna be scared of the things that are gonna take place. That don't mean seeing somebody getting zapped or turned into pink mist or anything like that ain't gonna scare the shit out of you. But the difference between you, speaking to myself first and foremost, you and the truth, or us and the truth, I should say, is that and us and the truth and the rest of the people out there that don't have a clue, the people that are in the dark, is that we know who's doing this. We know ultimately this ain't the end all be all, and that if we die, whatever, we go up into the heavens, we'll be at peace, we'll be all right. And then we'll be, Lord willing, raised back up and receive new bodies and be that first generation in the kingdom. But the rest of the people, hey, they don't know. They don't know anything. Even if we're telling them, even though the videos are going out every day, that telling them, saying everything that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is doing, and they're not going to receive it. It's not for them. But this is anguish. Quick Google definition of anguish. It says anguish is a feeling of intense suffering, distress, or pain that can be physical or mental. It is often associated with loss, grief, or tragedy. People experiencing anguish may feel overwhelmed, hopeless, or despairing. So, to give some examples, synonyms of anguish: torment, torture, hurt, pain, excruciate, rack. I don't even really know what that. I mean, I know what the other words mean, but just seeing a device incorporating a ratchet used to torture victims by stretching them beyond their natural limits. Hey, that's fucking terrible. But considering this, the times that are coming, let me see here. This is Jeremiah 30 and off a little bit. And I might also get this in the either in the AMP or the NLT. It says Jeremiah 30 and verse 4. These are the words that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. So this is both the northern and southern kingdom all together, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. For thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalaki. We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So let me read that one more time. For thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So this is the message going out. That Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is sending out. That the word going out, this is trembling, fear, and not of peace. So this is not a peaceful time. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So why do I see ask, can a man have a child? Can a man have a baby like a woman? Now, President Trump, he just came out and said there's only two genders. So, had it been, a month before, you would have had all those rainbow group saying, yeah. But no, a man cannot have a child. No matter how sick in the mind you are, a man can't do it. And wherefore, why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness? So, if that's the case, why do I see every man running around like a woman getting ready to give birth, like her water just broke? Her hands all on her loins. Why do I see that? Verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So because this day is so great, this day is so terrible, that's why all faces are turned into paleness, people scared shitless. Let me see here. What is this is Jacob's trouble. This is what's going to come on the whole world, but this is for Jacob. That's Judah and Israel, both the northern and southern kingdoms together. So let me see here, Jeremiah 30. Let's see. Let's see what it says in the NLT real quick. Let's go to the AMP. Here we are. Okay. So this is Jeremiah 30, and I'll start at verse 4 in the AMP. Now these are the words Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai spoke concerning Israel and Judah. Thus says Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we have heard a terrified voice of panic and dread. So it's a terrified voice, terrified, shaken. I kind of think of, I never actually saw it, but that the clip itself is, I guess, iconic. You don't really see it no more as that, what's that movie, Blair Witch Project, how they had the chick, recording herself crying in the camera, all that stuff. It's terrifying times. It says, we have heard a terrified voice of panic and dread. There is no peace. So this is a terrible day, let me see here. What am I thinking of? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. So, a woe to the world. All you people that dwell in this world, this is the entire world. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So people are going to take up arms. Primarily here in America, people are going to take up arms. They're going to take this, make this place great again in their eyes. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So there's going to be sedition, rebelling against the governments. They're not going to be, they're going to invade one another. People running into people's houses. It's going to get so bad out here. They're not going to regard the leaders, the kings, the princes, the governors, the mayors. They're not going to care, because things are going to get so bad out here. There's going to be no food. There's going to be famines. There's going to be no jobs. There's going to be nothing going on. So it's going to be terrible. A man shall desire to go into a city, and that shall not be able. So it might be different things. They might be, because there are different things being set up. Whether it be the infrastructure being cut off, whether the place is being burned down or completely abandoned, or you need the MOTB to enter. Like 15-minute cities. You need certain criteria. You're not going to be able to go into the cities. For whatever reason. It also says that there a lot of cities are going to be abandoned. That there's only going to be like a handful of people left. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So they're not going to have, all them preppers and all that kind of stuff, all the people that you wave at, howdy neighbor and all that kind of stuff. Hey, all them people that you're friendly with in the store or whatever like that, hey, they're not going to have any kind of pity on you. You went to their quinceañera, their daughter's quinceañera, whatever the fuck. You ain't going to have no pity, because they're going to be running into people's houses, looking for food. One that comes to mind, a lot of stuff comes to mind, but I used to play this game called Division, and this is a pretty good, game, because it's, going into the, lawlessness being here in Babylon the Great. But they had like a short a short video series or whatever, like, you know, some short films going on. And basically, you know, one of them, you know, these people were like holding out an apartment, and they started cooking a pizza, and it just I guess they had the window open or something like that, and the smell traveled out the window or down the hall or something like that. And the next thing you know, somebody came in and kicked down the door, you know, trying to get the pizza, you know, and that's it. It's just, you know, what comes to mind, you know, people are going to be so hungry that they're going to be, you know, the noses are going to be extra active. They're going to be smelling things they ain't smelled before, you know. The hearing is going to be hiding. You know, hear you open up a bag of chips or something like that. Hear you crunch on a chip. You know, they're going to come running. It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So, hey, people are going to be, hey, no mercy. You know, these are going to be terrible times. You know, also the road is a good one. You know, they were trying to avoid people mostly because they were all, you know, cannibals and, you know, freaks. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, and I'll start at verse 1 in the GNT. He answered, "Considered all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Most High, will bring judgment on the world he has created." So these signs, these prophecies, you know, they're different milestones. You know, Jacob's trouble is one. World War III is one. You know, the troops gathering in the Valley of Yehoshaphat. You know, the MOTB is another one. You know, all these things are being moved into place. You know, the uproars of the people, the earthquakes, you know, the wars and rumors of wars. You know, the people, the love for one another waxing cold. You know, false teachers arising. There's a lot of signs, and it's all pointing towards Jacob's trouble, towards the end of this age. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is bringing judgment with all these. There will be earthquakes and national rebellions. So there's earthquakes going on all over the world. National rebellions. So different nations rebelling. You know, all over the world. You can find that. International intrigues, unstable leaders, which was not the last guy, and confused rulers. So was that the last guy here? Was he not unstable? Was he not also confused? And then we're looking at, you know, Trump here. You really don't know what he's going to do. You know, but this is all in the scriptures. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what Power Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. The beginning and the end of everything that happens in the world are clear. The same is true in the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events, and mighty signs show when they end. So back to the lunar eclipses, the solar eclipses, the signs in the heavens. And let's see here. I'll close out with this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And you know, I'll start at verse 5. So 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 5. Behold, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, whether it's, you know, drones, UAVs, lasers, guns, bombs, you know, disease. Disease would be part of death, but Esau uses these things like weapons. He uses disease like a weapon. So the sword, famine, famines are brewing up all over the world. There's articles going out. Expect empty shelves this year. Death and destruction for wickedness have. So let me read that again. Behold, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So wickedness has exceedingly polluted the entire earth. It's overflowing with wickedness. And who's ruling right now? The wicked, Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And it's being fulfilled. Their works, it's almost done. It's almost time for them to how do you call it? It's almost time for them to meet their maker. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. This is the blood of the Israelites crying out. And the souls of the just complain continually. So constantly crying out, constantly complaining to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It's like saying, how long, O Lord, will you not judge this wicked kingdom? Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you touch the apple of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Esau Edom started with you, all you nations, and you got judgment coming unto you. And the elect are going to be beamed up out of Babylon the Great. Verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. And look at what's going on. If the days are not shortened, if the days weren't, matter of fact, was that Matthew 24? This is Matthew 24 and verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So for the elect's sake, the days are going to be shortened. It's going to be cut short. Even the days, science has shown that the days are speeding up. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. And if Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai ain't save us out of this, there would be no flesh left to save. It says, but behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and the 2/3, they're going to go right on into this, head first. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but the elect are going to be saved out of this destruction that's coming. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and with a stretched out slogging. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. So this isn't that same land of Egypt. This isn't ancient Egypt. This is the spiritual Egypt. This is spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. This is the land of our captivity. We came here in ships. Deuteronomy 28:68, like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai said, you could look at the back of your dollar, see the pyramids on there. You can see obelisks all around. You could see that. If you got spiritual eyes to see it. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And Egypt is being hit with all kinds of plagues, diseases, animal diseases. Now they're talking about quadrimic. They got the animal diseases coming out. I just saw an article earlier about that, in around Houston. And then there's also the ultimate plague, the thermonuclear destruction. And I will destroy all the land thereof. So this plan is going to be completely wiped off the earth. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall bring upon it. So that's pretty much it for the lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Shalom.